Dan Riegel with the number 37 Wing Super Modified. Dan, it's a sharp-looking machine. Tell me a little bit about this.
Well, we try to make it look good, nothing else, but I think we're finally getting the car where it's working good. We had a little bit of trouble at first getting it set up, but I think we're finally getting the bugs worked out of it. We had a lot of mechanical problems earlier, but we're finally getting to work and go around fast anyway.
You were here at Raven Raceway a few weeks back and you raced. How'd you do?
Not good. We kept having a spinning problem with the car. It wasn't set up. We had a bar go bad on it. So I think we got that taken care of.
Have you been racing up in Phoenix or any place else?
Once. We had one more race up in Phoenix since then.
How'd you do up there?
We got 4th in our heat race and broke a drive line in the main.
Word has it, Dan, that you're a rookie. Is that true?
Yep, that's true. So trying to get through this first season.
Have you raced before
No.
other cars or any other type of machines?
I raced three-wheelers back about 5-6 years ago. So other than that, nope.
And you just jumped right into this division.
Yeah. Looked like a lot of fun, so we might as well try this one.
How much money you got tied up in this Wing Super Modified?
Too much. Probably a little over 10 grand.
Is that right? Do you have a sponsor this year?
Yeah, me and L&L Body Shop.
And
They help out a lot.
Where are they located at?
40th Street in Elwood in Phoenix.
In Phoenix.
Yeah.
You trucked her all the way down today just for this race?
Yep. Try to come down here, try to track out down here. I got a nice track and try to support them down here. They supported us in Phoenix for a long time.
How's the track feel to you when you were out there last time?
I like
How
the track.
did it feel?
I like this track. I like the big track.
You like it better than Phoenix track?
That I don't know. I haven't ran on it that much here yet.
Oh, okay.
Have to answer that later.
You'll let us know about that later.
Yeah, we'll try it again tonight and see.
Okay. Good luck to you, Dan.
Oh, and thank you.
All right, thank you. See you out on the racetrack. All right. I'm here with Wes Morey in Wing Super Modified number 57. How you feeling tonight, Wes?
Oh, a little nervous.
A little nervous? How come you're nervous tonight?
Oh, this is my first time out in about 3 years.
And you raced before?
Yeah, I raced out here with the same car for about 3 years before that.
And this thing sort of looks like a midget a little bit.
Well,
you know, except for the wing on it.
Oh, it's one of the older cars out. The car Bud Palmer used to own it years ago. It used to be a sprint car.
Uh-huh.
And it's, like I say, it is probably the oldest car out here. And I have a Ford motor in it. It's probably the only Ford running out here, too.
How did you do years ago when you raced?
Well, if I'd have finished the season, I'd probably been in the top 10, but I never did finish the season. It just raced for a while. It's tough to get sponsors.
Yeah. Do you have a sponsor this year?
Not yet.
Not yet. You're looking for one.
We're
though.
looking for sponsors.
What size tires are those on the back of that thing? They
Well,
look awfully large.
That's a 104-inch Hoosier in circumference, and I'm running an 88 left rear, which is a recap. But yeah, it's a pretty good sized tire, but it does the job. That's the normal stagger I run usually in a heat race, and I go a little bit less in the main event.
Now a lot of these cars have that 4-bar suspension on them. In the sprints. Do you have anything like that on this vehicle?
I have the old parallel bars in the back,
and
in the front I have a spring suspension, the old spring suspension on the front. The car's called a Springer.
A Springer, huh?
Yes.
I haven't heard that term for a while.
Well, there's a couple out here, not too many, but there is a couple left.
Most of the guys going to the 4-bar?
Yes, most of them are. I'd like to have one too. It takes money to go with a 4-bar. You know, once you get it, it's not too bad.
Yeah. Is this your first race this season?
Yes, it is.
Tonight's the night, huh?
Tonight's the night.
A little bit nervous, but once that green flag comes out, all those butterflies will go away, right?
Every bit of them.
Every bit of them. Well, good luck to you tonight, Wes. It's nice talking with you, and we'll be watching you out on the racetrack.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm here in the pits with Lee Brown, 24, car number 24, Wing Super Modified. Lee, the car's looking good. How's it handling and running?
Well, we don't know yet. We only had a trial round a couple of weeks ago. This will be the big chance to see what it will do. So far, everything seems to be working out pretty good. We crashed about 4 weeks ago, and we had to strip all the parts off the other old car and put it on this one, but hopefully it'll be doing all right this weekend.
Looks like you got a brand new paint job on there also.
Just about.
Just about.
Just about. We used a couple of the body parts, but not very many.
Who's sponsoring you this year?
We've got Westover Swap Meet, Lee's Home Maintenance, T.A. Cage and Son, Missy, Flowers by Missy, and R&J Tire Service, and Copper State Nuts and Bolts.
And Lee's Home Maintenance, who owns that, Lee?
I own Lee's Home Maintenance.
I kind of figured that.
Yeah.
Lee, do you have what they call that 4-bar suspension on here, or do you have the older type suspension?
No, we have a 4-bar on this one. The old one was a Springer, and we put it in the new chassis, and this is a 4-bar.
What kind of engine are you running in this?
We run the 350 Chevy.
Gasoline?
Yes.
Carburation, right?
Carburation.
Carburation. What about the safety of these vehicles? Are they pretty safe?
They're very safe. I feel more safer in the cockpit of a race car than I do my pickup. There's not much way you can get out of it. It's strapped in pretty good. You got shoulder harness and a crotch strap, lap belts. It's just roll bars. It's padded and it's just very safe. When I crashed a couple of weeks ago, I really didn't even know I hit anything, and I pushed the car about 20 foot up the side of the track.
Is that right? So
I feel comfortable in it.
Comfortable in it. How long have you been racing?
I'm still a rookie.
Still a rookie?
It's still a rookie. This is my rookie year.
Are you nervous?
Oh, a little.
That's only natural, right?
It's only natural.
But once that green flag went out last week, all the butterflies went away?
Just about all of them, yes.
Just about all of them? Couple still flopping around in the
They'll probably be
cockpit,
flopping for a year or so also.
Yeah. What made you get into auto racing?
Well, I've always liked auto racing, and my son got into the super modified end of it about 4 or 5 years ago, and we got a chance to buy one, so both of us like to race, and he drove all last year, and it was my turn this year. So he was a rookie last year. He was runner-up rookie, placed second in the runner-up series in the rookie end of it. So I'm hoping I can do that well this year, or maybe even better. You know, I'd like to take Rookie of the Year, but I don't know whether there's any chance or not.
Oh, come on now. You can have a little more confidence than that.
Maybe.
Maybe, huh?
Maybe.
We'll see after tonight, right?
We'll see after tonight.
Okay. Lee, good luck to you out there. We'll see you out on the racetrack, and hope you make Rookie of the Year.
I hope so, too.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jack.
All right. I'm in the pits with Dan Smith, car number 29 from Phoenix. Dan, did you truck her down or spend the night last night?
We spent the night last night. We stayed at the Quality Inn at the airport, and a real nice place to stay. People treat us great down here. We really enjoy it.
Dan, I was watching you last night. I know you started in the main toward the rear of the pack, and I watched you work your way toward the front. Did a fine job of driving. Another 10 laps, we might have been up there, huh?
Well, maybe if I could have started a little farther forward in the field, I might have done a little bit better, but you know, on some nights you get out there and things just seem to go your way, and last night was one of my nights.
How's the car handling?
The last 4 or 5 races down here in Tucson, the cars seem to be working really well. I'm getting to know the track a little bit better, more about how it, you know, might get dry or might not, and how the track's getting worked in towards the evening, and getting to learn the track fairly well. I'm enjoying it. Car's working good.
Are you racing anywhere else besides Tucson?
Manzanita Speedway in Phoenix. I'm running there right now, and I also try to get in a few of the quarter-mile shows at Manzanita. On the small track, I have another car, another bullet chassis that has a stock subframe that I run on the small tracks, and just try to race whenever I can.
You can't bring that car down to this racetrack because it doesn't...
No, I could. It fits these rules, but the stock subframe hinders the car a little bit. The cars aren't quite as fast, and the late model is a better car to run down here. I could run it here, but it wouldn't be as competitive as this car.
When you get up front and you've got, say Trimmer and Sipes and the rest of the guys on your tail, what kind of strategy do you use to keep them from passing you?
Boy, with those guys, there is no strategy. You just try to do the best job you can and try to stay out there, because believe me, they're trying pretty hard to pass you.
That's right.
And there's not really much strategy you can use except for you sit there in the car and you say, well, car,
go for it.
Yeah, give me all you got, because you need it.
Put the pedal to the metal, huh?
Yeah, with guys like Rick Sipes and Mr. Trimmer and Ivan Russel behind you, you need all the help you can get.
That's right. How about that Brockmorton? He was very impressive last night.
Very impressive last night. I watched him run his heat race, him and Carl Trimmer, and he's had his problems here the last few weeks, gotten a couple crashes and whatnot, but I think he's going to be up front from now on. He was running real good last night.
He looks like he's a young man. He's only 26 years old. I asked him, you know, how he matched up with the Trimmers and the Russells and the Sipes, a couple weeks ago, and he said, "Oh, they're old." So he's got a lot of confidence, and I guess that's what you have to be in this late model division.
Well, you know, this is my first year in the late model division, and I'm 31, and Carl and Ivan and Rick have been around a long time, but they're the ones you have to beat. They're always going to be there.
They're always going to be there.
You bet.
You're going to have to be.
Yeah, they're not going to let you win. You're going to have to beat them.
You're going to have to earn it, right?
That's right.
Okay. Dan Smith, a real impressive driver. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you out on the racetrack.
Nice talking with you.
Nice talking to you. I'm with Bud Palmer and Wing Super Modified car number 5. Bud, you from Phoenix?
Well, I'm up there last year. I moved to Mesa, but I've been living here in Tucson for 25 years. But Gates Learjet laid off out here, and I went to work up at Phoenix, so we moved up there about a year and a half ago.
How long you been racing?
We started here in Tucson about 59, racing. We raced motorcycles out at the old speedway out on the highway for about a season and a half, and I got interested in the race cars and bought a little roadster off of Red Turner. That goes back a ways, in about 61, and I've been with the open wheel cars ever since, roadsters and then on to super modifieds.
Have you ever won any championships?
Won the championship here last year for the super modifieds, and the last time I won a championship was in Northeast Missouri Racing Association, and then I went back there from 65 to 71 and raced Missouri and Iowa and Illinois. And I won a championship back in Kirksville and one in Bloomfield and one in Memphis, Missouri. But, the only championship I won here in Arizona was here at this speedway last year.
Sounds like you've been around quite a bit in your racing career.
Long time. I'm probably the oldest super modified driver in the association. Probably the oldest open wheel driver. Herb Crawford, the kid that got hurt about 3 weeks ago, he injured his hand real bad up in Phoenix. He was 56, and I'm 54. You know, I've got him a little long in the tooth, so they say.
A little bit. How has racing changed in this division since you started it? Is there a big difference from, I will say, back 25 years ago until now?
Oh, yeah. The biggest difference, of course, is the tires. And when the tires got bigger and wider and softer and various compounds available to us where we could get the horsepower down to the racetrack, well, then, of course, we started running bigger and stronger engines and bigger rear ends and open tube rear ends and so forth and so on. So as the tires progressed and enabled us to get more horsepower to the racetrack, well, along came the wings and along came the 4-bar cars. And fundamentally, this is just a sprint car with a carburetor on it. Sprint cars are shorter than we are, and we're self-starting, but they're running an aluminum engine. We stayed with the steel engine, hoping to, reduce some of the costs. But basically, this chassis here was built by Stewart Fabricating, and a lot of them here are Stewart and Stanton's, and they're, basically a sprint car with the fact that we're running steel wheels, steel engines as opposed to aluminum. Keeps the cost down considerably.
Are your organization trying to keep the cost down?
Absolutely. That's been our primary objective for many years, is to keep it where a guy could afford it. You know, you can build one of these things for $10,000 or $12,000, and the sprint car guys got $20,000 in their engines alone.
Right.
So yes, we've been able to look into the future, and the political situation's been a little touch and go, but we've always kept the money thing in pretty close context, and we've been able to keep the cost down on these things as opposed to a sprint car. Now, 25 years ago we were running flathead Fords and Chevrolets with 2-barrel carburetors and little 8-inch tires, but that's all there was. There wasn't anything else.
So now you're running what kind of carburation? We
got these are alcohol carburetors, and there's several aftermarket carburetors on the market now, Bob Ream and Brasfield, but we got away from the gasoline quite some time ago because it's a little dangerous. It builds a big fire in case of an accident, and it's easier to run alcohol. Your engine's cooler and builds more horsepower, and it's a cost savings, even though maybe 50 cents a gallon more. Of course, if you're racing gasoline, that stuff, $3 or $4 a gallon, so it's better off to run methanol the way we're running it.
Now, these fellows that are driving the sprints, I know you guys raced up against them one night and And I talked to everybody before the race, and they said, well, we don't have a chance.
We're not competitive with the sprint
No.
cars because we just give too much away. They have a bigger wing. We have a 16 square foot wing. They have a 25 square foot wing.
Right.
We have steel wheels. They have aluminum wheels. We have steel engines with a carburetor. They have aluminum engines with fuel injection. We just give away too much. We've raced the sprint cars right here on this racetrack many times, and we've been competitive before they put their wings on. If you take the wing off of a sprint car right now, we could run with them and be competitive. And in the top 5 or top 10 cars, you'd have 5 sprinters and 5 super modifieds. But when you just give away everything, then we're not even in the
We
same
don't
class.
have a chance, right.
I think we could probably be competitive here in an Arizona dry slick track. We took the wings off of both of them, reduced the speed significantly, you know, then we could be competitive. But
Would you like to see that?
sure, I like to race with the sprint cars on a short track. I'd drive a sprint car today if it was on a short track. But the danger of a big half-mile racetrack and those 130-mile-an-hour speeds takes it right out of the ballpark for a family man, for a working guy. We can't afford to play that game.
Right. Well, now they're running injection also.
Right.
That makes somewhat of a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, you can build more horsepower with injectors. That's not the only thing. Their big aluminum engines gives them the biggest edge, but
What you're saying, it's a combination of the bigger wing and
Sure.
the injection and the tires and
lighter
and the
wheels, lighter
engine.
wheels, bigger wing. You know, you figure the lift ratio on the wing, you say 16 foot to 25 foot, that doesn't sound like much, but when you start figuring lift ratios, it's twice as much.
Yeah.
But no, we just give away too much. But even on a short track, and there isn't any short tracks left, we got a 3/8 here and a 1/3 mile up to Phoenix. We don't have any quarters anymore. We used to wrestle them around pretty good on the quarter, but they've got that all down now, and we're not competitive with them as things stand.
How do you feel you're going to do out there this year?
Well, I'm competitive. My priorities are a little bit different than some of the boys. If I had a chance to win, I will, but I'm not going to take any unnecessary chances or do anything silly to tear up my race car.
Or yourself?
Or myself. I'm going to take what they give me, and if I can roll it on the trailer after the race is over, I've had a good race.
Then you're happy.
You betcha.
Okay. Bud Palmer, good talking with
Thank
you,
you.
and we'll see you out on the racetrack.
Betcha.
Thank you.
Snakes are on it. We're just not they can stab the whole place. They get the rattlesnakes out of the back. How long is that?
We need some shots of the stands tonight when they get full across.
The place is buzzing. If folk come see one by the dozen, just in style to hog wild in the gale. Son of a gun, we have big fun on the dial. Jam all right across this path till they gon' go. 'Cause tonight I'm gonna see my share of meal. The guitar, the preacher, and the gale. Son of a gun, we have big fun on the dial. This man, when I gumbo, 'cause tonight I'm gonna see my Michelle meal. The guitar, the preacher, and the gale. So we're gonna have big fun on the vinyl.
Have a special flag presentation as a part of our usual national anthem situation here tonight, but at this time, as a very special guest is tooling up in the van, I would like to invite any war veterans in the stands tonight to please leave the stands just for a few minutes and come down and join us here on the track. And of all of you war veterans who join us down here in front, I would like to have one who would come forth and volunteer to accompany our starter, George Camp, over to the flagpole for the actual flag-raising ceremony. So if you various war vets, it doesn't have to be limited to Vietnam, but any war vets in the audience tonight, please take just a couple of minutes and come down front to be a part of what we think is a special presentation, a special ceremony tonight. Any veterans in the stands, and I'm betting there's a few of us up here, please come forth.
Come on, gentlemen. Be proud. All of you, please, that would like to participate, come on down here with your fellow veteran down here himself.
How you doing, man? Dave, did you have any idea? Tell you, nobody better start nothing out of the ordinary out here tonight, because now we know where the help is. Thank you guys for coming down, and if you've been bashful up till now and you'll come down still, we would love to have you join us here front and center for a special Memorial Day festivity here this evening. And thanks again to all of you on behalf of Dave and Linda Manus for coming out tonight, and happy birthday to Linda. Let's, for all the veterans, including a special one in our presence tonight, Philip Miller, who is with us, a Vietnam vet, for a Memorial Day celebration. And Philip, it's so ironic. We seem to always be able to get ourselves into trouble in this world, don't we?
Yeah. I ain't got much to say. This is for everybody. This is for everybody. This ain't for me. No, that's all right. This is for everybody.
I just said it's for everybody. But what's the special feeling that you get when you congregate with your old buddies?
They understand. That's all. They understand. That's all.
Is that something we in America as a whole are finally doing, in your opinion, honestly?
No.
Good. Say it.
No. Not even almost, baby.
Do you have faith that someday we will?
Well, you always could hope, right?
That's what we do so often. Thank you so much for being with us this evening. Who's going to be the first one to pop the hand and accompany George Camp over to the flagpole here this evening? We'd like to just have any one of you veterans to do it. Okay? You two decide which of you want to do it, or better yet, both of you. Go with Mr. Camp over there. Carolyn Cook, as she has in so many weeks past, will lead us through the national anthem, and I will save Dave the breath, but I know what it means to him. Gentlemen in the audience, please remove your caps now, and as we approach the flagpole back here, we'll turn the mic over to Carolyn. Let's all stand and be led in tonight's national anthem. We need to get turned around so we can see anyway, Dave, so. And Carolyn, you have just been superb in weeks past out here. You have a tremendous voice, and I hope you keep doing this thing.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, how about a nice rousing ovation for our Vietnam vets and all vets of all wars here? Let them know we appreciate them. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much, race fans, for taking part and sharing a little bit of goodness that we appreciate from all these people. They're spectators, they're racers, they're people in our community, and we need to acknowledge their need for a little recognition in this racetrack too. So to all you vets, thank you very much.
Well, our first heat late models will be coming out on the track in just about a minute, and we'll be getting underway. A little muddy out on the racetrack, eh, Tom?
Uh-huh. Almost like I was standing in some clay down there.
I think that's what's out there, among other things.
Other unmentionables. Brockmorton.
In the third row on the inside, the car number 29, Dan Smith from Phoenix.
Outside row 3, double dip from Phoenix also, Gene Scheer.
And Mike Hancock in the car number 73 from Eloy on the last row.
Flanked by Paul Banghart as we get an early green to go racing. Off and running on a unique, but ain't it beautiful, Sunday night. Out here at the oft-times widest, windiest, wackiest 3/8 in the West. Dwayne Lang puts the early pace on it. Throckmorton closing the gap, or so it would appear, through turn 1 and out of turn 2. He's got him at least temporarily bit back there. And it'll be Throckmorton taking the lead into turn 3. And then trying to turn it loose and open it up just a little bit on Dwayne Lang until he reaches some feeling of comfortability, and it can in fact be found. Dan Smith currently in third place. Herb Lang running fourth right now. Those are your top four as we get a fairly early green on this Sunday evening. What a good feeling it is, too. Banghar now riding along on the tail of Herb Lang in that number 87 machine. Here we come out of turn 4 down the home stretch. Brockmorton in number 52, Dwayne Lang in number 88, Dan Smith, number 29.
Throckmorton's got a little under 2-second lead on Dwayne Lang.
Somehow it looks a little bit bigger than that, but there you see it. Throckmorton flashing by, followed by Lang and Smith. Smith seems to be closing it up fairly well, but not quite as rapidly, maybe, as what he was running out here last night.
And he's coming on the inside of Lang, but couldn't overtake him in their number 4.
Throckmorton still in command. Those two battling it out for second place. These two conducting their own little race right now. And about a half lap down to your leader, Jim Throckmorton Jr., who looks at the white flag with a lap to go to preserve what he's got. Checkered up for your leader and winner, Throckmorton in number 52, followed by Lang and Smith. Smith never able to really close it up. Lang and Banghar. Mike Hancock also coming by. So that's unofficially how they stack up in your first late models heat race on a Veterans and Memorial Weekend.
Tom, track is still a little bit wet. The white flag lap for Dan Smith was 19 and 72 1/100.
1972.
So I'm going to mark that down. We'll clock them again during the feature and see if they pick up a little bit of the time here.
Lang's giving us a little bit of reminiscence of the Unser Senior, Unser Junior set earlier today. A fireman who works, if I'm not mistaken, in the, what do they call it, extremely hazardous elements squadron or some such.
Hazardous materials?
Don't they? It just brings a chuckle to my throat every time these guys get so calm, cool, and collected. Just impressing the daylights out of George Camp. Did they work it right this time? He's even got the arms crossed.
He didn't even put out a yellow or nothing. He just stood there and looked at him. Fellas, you're going to do it my way or you're not going to do it at all.
Treating them to a little silent belligerence. And Sandy says, you bet. He's good at that.
Not last night, though.
So they'll line it up again.
Bud Palmer brings him around.
Try to re-impress George Camp, who's got the green flag in hand, and here we go. The wings are off and running. And look at that two-car charge into the turn, of which Ronnie Widwell survives the leader and then opens it up down the back chute in the early on. Bud Palmer in car number 5 dropping back fast to that second position, in which he is currently running just ahead of Tommy Symes in the 4T car. Widwell, Palmer, and Symes. 1, 2, 3. That's how you see him down the back chute. Heading into turn 3, Moose Guerin, car number 29, now moving into the top trio, displacing Symes in that last go-around. These guys are deceiving in their speed out here. Get to cranking it real good, and it looks good most of the time. Ronnie Widwell, number 96. At least for the time, running away from the rest of the pack. But you saw what good that did Mario Andretti today. Always that element of surprise and uncertainty that hangs over what you do in this business. Lap number 5, Jack. Clean.
Well, we'll get a clock on Ronnie Whitwell and see what kind of times he's turning right now, and we'll clock him a little bit later.
The open wheel competition. Always providing a lot of juice and excitement out here. They've done more than their fair share, actually. Weeks past. But a great bunch of guys.
19 and 45 100s compared to 19 and 72 on that late model race.
As you might expect, some rather feisty personalities. White flag time, 1 lap to go. Ronnie Widwell will lead into it. With a lead on Moose Guerin. Bud Palmer at one time in the lead. Now looking at the leaders. Flashing by. Wow, boy, those were would have erased one another's raised white letters. It was that close. And no better place to do it close than right down the home stretch.
'96 by a half a foot.
Who measures that?
Tony Barrell had her tape measure sitting up on the window.
And her little brownie saying this looks like a photo finish.
Close. That was a close one. Moose Guerin almost pulled it out. Cars for sale. You want to get into racing?
Oh, really?
Yep.
What's he want?
$1.50. No, that's a program. It's more than I have, that's for sure.
George has got green in hand tonight, and he waves it. Let's do it in the dirt at Raven on Sunday night. Rick Sipes says, come on, guys, let me set an early pace here. I've been working on this sucker for weeks now, trying to get it tuned in, dialed up just right for this Dave Matus's racetrack, and I'll tell you what, he's maybe got the job done, Jack. Jim Brassfield is in second place and taking aim on the leader. See if he can scrunch that up any. Bill Brandon looking good in the early on, and
Ivan Russell coming up all the way from the rear in the 4th place.
Double fives, and you're right. Ivan doing what Ivan does so well, and that is come from somewhere within the pack and nip away. Surprise them all up at the top. An early departure here for Mr. Fight in that Mustang number 84. We'll wish him a speedy recovery. Speaking of speedy, Rick Sipes has got her powered down the back chute. Looking good here in the early on. Jim Brassfield trying to close it up. Ivan Russell now in 3rd place. Moving in ahead of Bill Brandon and leading Billy into turn 1, which Billy's probably glad to get through unscathed here this evening after last night's terrible experiences down there. Proving that it sometimes reaches out and slaps even the best of them.
Ivan Russell putting a move on Bill Brandon, slipping in on the inside, coming out of turn number 2.
Jack Cocott in car number 4, hanging back there in about 5th position, and not appearing to be able to close it up, tighten it up a whole lot. But that man right there, Rick Sipes, has got her planted pretty good right now. And I'd say any questions he's had in recent weeks, he has maybe been finding some answers to.
He's looking real good out there. White flag coming up.
1 lap to go for your leader, Rick Sipes. Likewise, Jim Brassfield, Ivan Russell, Bill Brandon, Jack Cocott, Ed Bell, Ronnie Widwell. Now the checkered, and Rick Sipes wins in this Bud's For You car. And no appreciable change in the rest of the progression after that. Jim Brassfield taking second place, Ivan Russell third, Bill Brandon fourth, Jack Cocott fifth, Bell and Whitwell. What you see is what you got.
From Tucson, as George Camp eyeballs them as they come around the number 4 corner.
He's got the green in hand, and he gives it to those winged wonders. And look at that by none other than your good buddy, Donnie Sink. Putting a real charge on, literally driving and diving it into turn 1, assuming the early on lead here. Donnie Sink of Tucson up front, but he's got company.
That's J.D. Vance right behind him, and Dave Hatton in the car number 4 trying to catch up.
Hatton down here from Phoenix tonight. Likewise, Mr. Vance. So your Tucsonan is out front with a pair of Phoenicians not too far behind, and then it opens up. It becomes a gap back to the 4th, 5th, and later positions in this winged heat. 71 and 82 next in line. Gary Hinton and Bill Parker Jr. To give you a glance of your top 5, trading by now. Donnie Sink in the lead. Hatton has moved that number 4 machine up to a very respectable second place right now, and able to close the gap up, if ever so little, going into turn 3. Now, what's he got here for the home stretch? Not enough to catch Donnie Sink, but enough to keep it out of the front section of J.D. Vance's machine. But not for long. Vance slips by on the inside in that turn 2. We've seen some losses there in the last couple of nights, haven't we, Jack?
We sure have, Tom. Somebody hit the pole over there last night.
It seems like of all the 4 turns, that one's the one that you better hit and handle just right, or else you're going to lose a lot of precious ground real quick.
Well, let's see if Donnie can hold on, because the white flag is coming out right now.
1 to go for Donnie Sink, J.D. Vance, and Dave Hatton. And there they go, out of 2, down the back chute. Look at him trying to close it up and bringing it just ever too close. Getting bumped to the upper wall and losing out to what turned out to be a dominator there, but that's to be expected of Donnie Sink in that 5T machine. But a well-handled bump back there in turn 3 that by a less experienced or a lucky driver might have run into some problems with that wall up there, but not so. Not the case tonight, as J.D. Vance and Dave Hatton were working their rear bumpers off to close up the gap on Sink, but they couldn't get her done. Donnie getting a nice round of applause as he parades by, as well he should. Top 4 unofficially: Donnie Sink, Dave Hatton, Gary Hinton, and Bill Parker Jr.
Say, we're missing somebody out there, and perhaps that's why George is holding off, but nope, he's got the green flag in hand. Let's see if he's going to let him go.
Well, we'll see who's not as they come by this time, because it won't be under the green.
Uh-oh. George is telling the pole sitter to slow it down, Roy.
Saying, Terry, you're supposed to be the second row on the outside. We saw a lot of that today back at the Brickyard, too, but that's probably 40-50% of what a smart racer, I should say, is all about.
I'm going to keep my eye on 23T and see what he does when George throws that green out.
George has got green in hand, but we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it yet.
Oh, he's telling him to go to the back. Uh-oh.
The old heave-ho.
They made him mad now.
What these guys don't want to do is get Mr. Camp down out of that starter stand and onto the surface. He gets real mean when he has to get those white pants dirtied. Real mean. See how well the hand signals work.
And he's telling Terry green in the car number 07 back to the back of the pack.
Terry's probably pretending to notice everything right now but George Camp.
He's going to notice him now because there he goes.
Next time around, he's going to have to run over him. Oh, I love it. I love a good brouhaha. Come to think of it, I love even a bad brouhaha.
Some people are cheering, and Terry Green's fans are not.
I'm not understanding this.
Okay. 61 is.
What is supposed to happen, in case you didn't know, and in this case, car number 61, Roy Gibson, is responsible for setting the pace, and then the gentleman to his right is responsible for maintaining that pace. It goes something like that. Anyhow, that's what George just went down in the dirt to explain to him, and we'll see if they've satisfied him. He's got the green in hand once again. He's had it there so often tonight, his hand has turned green. Now we wave and go racing on a Sunday night. An unusual circumstance of a Sunday night, but tell you what, I like this quite a lot. How about you, Jack?
I sure do, Tom. It's some exciting racing as Jack Moore takes the lead right off the front.
Jack Moore has been a powerhouse weeks past, and I guess he's not going to let tonight be any different. Carl Moltner Jr. working away on him from that second and third position alternatingly, and look there, number 74,
Yep. Here
Carl
comes
Trimmer.
Carl Trimmer.
Hot up on the tail of number 90 now, and sliding by him. Will he have room in turn one? No, he's going to have to back off and wait for a later opportunity, while Jack Moore continues to set the pace down the back chute into 3. Trimmer running pretty close there to his fellow competitor in that third turn, and he gets by him back here. He finally succeeds. About a lap later than when he had originally planned it. So Carl Trimmer now in third place behind Kevin Clayton has shot up into second position with that number 44 machine. And right on the heel of your leader, Jack Moore. There goes Jack. Woo, that's pretty nice. 1, 2, 3. With Chuck Boslin's T-Bird currently hanging back there in fourth spot. And Trimmer slicing away on Clayton now and eking it out in front of him in turn 3 and applying some pretty good pressure to Jack Moore right now down the home stretch into 1. Little on the short side there for Carl, but he works that as well as I've seen it work so far in the past 6 or 7 weeks. And who's that? Rapid Roy?
That's Roy Gibson, spun out there between 1 and 2.
Oh, Rapid may be doing a little too rapid up there, particularly in that turn 1 area, which has had its moments too. Not quite as bad. Well, I don't know. I suppose we had up several situations down there last night, a couple of times that stand out in particular in that area, and I don't mean to keep dwelling on it. Bill Brandon certainly had his problems there last night, and now Rapid Roy in just about that same spot. But it's his first spin. He's still in.
He's still in. Jack Moore, your current leader, right behind him, hot on his trail. 74, Carl Trimmer. Kevin Clayton. Probably glad to see that yellow flag coming out because he was falling back just a bit there.
He had really made the surge into that second place awfully quick.
And running fourth, Carl Moltner Jr. So,
Dan McRedman.
Yep.
He's had some real good runs out here weeks past. Right now, just ahead of Terry Green. As we anticipate getting back to Green on a birthday and memorial kind of night at Raven Raceway.
As Chuck Boslin never made it out for this one in the car number 90. And I don't know if they're going to get old Roy back out there or not. Nope, they're throwing a hook on him. So looks like he's going to be out of this one.
Jack Moore setting the early pace. Carl Trimmer right on his rear bumper now. Kevin Clayton still looking good, just not as good now that he's in third as opposed to the second place he once held. He will certainly try to regain that and anything more he might be able to get away with. Carl Moltner Jr., successive weeks just seemingly keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And as I mentioned, Terry Green and 07 there bringing up the rear at the moment, telling me last night he figures he's another 4 or 5 weeks away from being consistently competitive, even with all the work he's been putting into that machine and scrambling to get it into the field out here over the last 4 or 5 weeks. He was in stock racing years ago before he switched over to being a drag racer, and now he's come back and buying lots of tires. He said he had no idea they got torn up this fast in this business.
He needs a tire sponsor. Okay, Jack Moore leads him around, and George looks at him.
Green again. We're off and running. So's Carl Trimmer. He's got some plans. Let's see if Jack Moore can stave him off.
First the outside, then the inside, but he still doesn't get around him.
He succeeds through turn 1 and turn 2 and still leading Carl into turn 3.
Nope.
But Carl slingshots him there, powers out of 4 and into the lead again. Now leading Jack Moore by that much and followed by Carl Moltner Jr. in car number 90. Kevin Clayton has now skittered back to 4th position as the white flag comes out for the leader Trimmer and the rest of the progression. No contesting this one now for Carl Trimmer, and what a slick slingshot move out of 3 that one turned out to be. Your winner, Carl Trimmer.
Uh-oh, look out there at 4.
Having red hot back-to-back nights here at Raven Raceway. Just a little squirrely. Carl Trimmer, your winner. And he appreciates that. Jack Moore, 2nd place. Kevin Clayton, a real good run in that number 44 machine. 10 cents over at Tink's Lounge to the first person who is beyond the age of 18 who shows up here in a Raven t-shirt. Now, how tough can that be?
12 cents for an 18-year-old? Or is it 21? 21, okay. 21 years old.
21. First one above 21 in a Raven t-shirt. Just working. Bound up those steps. He's going to find the real deal on a 12 pack for 2 cents. From the Tink's Lounge menu to the first person 12 or above who shows up here with at least one tooth missing. 12 and above. 12 and above. A couple of free lunches over at Tink's Lounge. Maybe take mom or pop over there and impress them for a change.
Let's give away a t-shirt from George's Automatic.
I'll do that for the first lady above 21.
Yes.
Who shows up in her Raven t-shirt.
And they have to walk up here. Can't run. Let's play it safe. Okay, let's give a free heel repair from those good guys over at Cactus Boot and Shoe Repair. If you have lucky number 2857, 2857. Come on up and pick yourself up.
Boots, blue jeans, Dave Manus. David?
Thank you, everybody. It's nice to see the super modifieds back. They've had a long wait. They're going to be running more frequently here upcoming in the next couple of months. I want to remind you, next week, the USAC field is increased to 24 entries from California, the LA area, against the Arizona people, which will probably field a good 40 cars there. I think we're going to have a field of 60 midgets here next Saturday night. It'll be the biggest field that's ever been run in Arizona, so don't miss that show. It's going to be a real good one. Sleepy trip with a lot of the guys from California. Wayne Bennett, Denise Bennett, they'll all be here. The super guys, they're getting ready for their 20-lap main event. 30 laps on the NASCAR late models, they'll be next. And then we're going to have the live band out in front. People can party. We have an announcement to make on car number 4, Tommy Signs, ET Automotive. After the races, the gates will be open, the pit gates. All the kids will go down there. They have candy. They have some posters, race posters, and different things they want to give to all the kids tonight for Memorial Weekend. So thanks to Bud and Tommy Signs on ET and all the supers. You kids make sure Mom and Dad takes you down there. All right, let's go, Tom. Announce them.
Thank you, Dave. We'll in a moment. But right now, we've got a pair of sunglasses to give away to somebody who has lost them and who can come up to the booth, see Linda Manus, properly identify them, and we'll get them returned. A pair of look like gentlemen's sunglasses, almost the aviator style. Okay, George Camp is back there ready to wave the flag, and as he does that, we'll rattle him off and let you know who's all set to go. Car number 24 back there from Tucson, sponsored by Lee's Home Maintenance, Brown Wing Aluminum Work, Westover Swap Meet, Copper State, Flowers by Missy, R&G Tire Service, piloted by Tucsonan Lee Brown, number 24.
Okay, from Phoenix, and sponsored by L&L Body Shop. The car number 37, Don Regalis.
Car number 57 from Tucson, a guy who's looking for some sponsors out here. So if we've got folks in the stand who've got some bucks to spend and feel like this would be a good advertising investment, car number 57 being driven by Maury West.
Okay,
West Maury. My apologies.
We weren't sure on that one. Okay, from Tucson, sponsored by Rocket Electric, the car number 14, Ron Gary.
Capable of building and putting out fires. Car number 54, sponsored by East Engine Specialty and Royal Automotive. He's from Tucson, John Vesey.
From Eloy, Arizona, sponsored by Capital Trencher and 84 Chevron. The car number 84, Bug Harris.
From Phoenix, sponsored by DeYoung Motorsport and Stewart Race Cars, car number 33, J.D. Vance.
From Phoenix, sponsored, well, he's looking for a sponsor. The owner is Duke Smith. The car number 13, Jim Smith.
The 4T machine, sponsored by ET Automotive, Quality Plating, Tinks Lounge, and Brown Wings, Tommy Signs of Tucson.
Okay, from Phoenix, sponsored by Black Hawk Sands Chevrolet, L&J Sign Company, the car number 82, Bill Parker Jr.
Car number 5 down from Mesa tonight, owned by Sonia and at least temporarily sponsored by Sonia Palmer, Bud Palmer at the wheel.
Okay, from Phoenix, sponsored by Art Sign Company, AD Art Sign Company, the car number 21, Tom Dingus.
What timing for car 92. Perfect timing, as a matter of fact, for a guy by the name of Billy Hicks. Good job, Billy. PRA champion for the last 2 years, too.
From Tucson, sponsored by Young Contracting, the car number 71, Gary Hinton.
Car number 29 from Tucson, sponsored by Direct Machine, A1 Automotive Paint, Precision Engineering, piloted tonight by Moose Guerin.
And behind the wheel of car number 4 from Phoenix, Dave Hatton.
Car number 96, sponsored by the Post Time Pub from Tucson, Ronnie Widwell.
And your pole sitter for tonight's main event in the Wing Super Modifieds from Tucson, sponsored by Brassfield, the car number 5T, Don Sinks.
Also would mention, Jack, that in the car 13, Jim Smythe, even though we list him officially these days as being a Phoenician from Phoenix, he is a former Santa Rita graduate.
Aha.
And one that is still looking for some sponsors. So.
Oh, that's what it means by the for rent sign there on the wing. I was wondering.
If it fits into your plans, why not? I'll bet there's even a lot of veterans out here right now, probably milling about and congregating off in little cliques saying, hey, do we want to go for this? Or do we want to maybe get into dwarf racing? Do we want to get us a NASCAR Charger? I can just hear it milling about in the stands tonight. Those LeBarons from Chrysler make awfully nice little pace cars, don't they? think we last did these guys, if I'm not mistaken, on Mother's Day. We've got green. Oh, nice little bump. Successfully ridden out and into turn one from that third position. That blue machine, but number 24 does not survive it up there so well. Number 4 is the one, Dave Hatton, who down from Phoenix got a big bounce going into turn one, but he was able to keep it maintained and under control. Rookie driver getting the feel just like the rest of them for what still is, to a large degree, a new race plant for them.
That's Lee Brown in that car number 24, that Westover swap meet car. I talked to Lee a little bit earlier in the pits, and he said he's out here to have some fun and just get out there and do his best tonight.
He's off and flying again, and now we've got another one down back there. It looks like signs, is it? 14.
Ron Gary on the back chute.
Our flying fireman looking for a little assist from Gary's towing, and he's got it.
He's also a rookie. So the two rookies having their problems early in
I
this
would
main
think
event.
this would be a particularly tough division to get your rookie shoes off and grow into a veteranship. But I guess if you want to do it mean, clean, and fairly quick, this would be a good way to do it. But
Well, Lee Brown in that 24 car, Tom, just headed around into the pits, so he may be out of this one. And 14's headed that way also, Ron Gary.
well, we wish both of them a speedy recovery. Like to get them back out here in this 20-lap main event for the winged super modifieds. George Camp says, let's do it one more time. Assuming they get the green when they come around this time, if you folks feel up to it, and I trust you do, when those two lead cars get right in front of you, come to your feet and stay standing and feel and sense the Raven wave all the way from Stomper Hill down to the pit fields. Right here, assuming whether they do or they don't, when the lead cars get to you in the stands, come to your feet and let's produce the Raven wave. Oh, nice job. Folks didn't need any practice at all. We must have sensed that up here this evening. Tell you who else doesn't need any practice at all, and that's a guy by the name of Donnie Sings. It was a good wave.
Very good wave. And look out in the infield, number 37, brings her back out.
These drivers not only hear it, but they sense it. It helps ignite the fire just that much more. And it looks like somebody's built a pretty good one under that guy. Donnie Sings in the lead. Ronnie Widwell in his dual flags no longer in second place. He has dropped off to a third place stance right now. Awfully thick down there through 3 and 4, but 92 right now is up in second place. Billy Hicks behind Donnie Sings. Ronnie Widwell maintaining in that third place, and now he looks a little pooped here in the home stretch, emitting smoke and without power sufficient to get him off of the field of competition and into the pit field. So George Kemp reaches for and finds the yellow.
And he's got some smoke pouring out of that engine compartment as the fire crews come on over.
We've got 3 laps in the book of this 20-lap winged super modified main event for you tonight. 3 laps in the book, and Donnie Sings, car 5T, still in control of this one. But I'm sure a couple of them, including Billy Hicks in car number 92, Moose Guerin in car number 29, Dave Hatton in machine number 4, all would like to think they can alter that, put an adjustment into that real quick. We go to red. So we'll keep a close eye and ear on the situation. Let you know what has gone awry. As soon as we know, we'll pass that information along to you. Whatever it is, it has pushed us to that least favorite of all our racing colors, red. We are condition red at the moment. And as soon as we can responsibly pass the information along, we will do so. Is the reason the ambulance folks have headed off to the pit field. He apparently took some debris in the face, and we have the medical experts in that area as pronto as possible to tend to Gary Hinton. We will wish him well down there. The Raven Raceway bandstand for at least, I say at least, 2 hours after the next checkered flag, not the one coming up, but the one after this one. After it falls, what's fallen now is more important because it's green in color, and Donnie Sinks is in the lead. Can he hang on to it? Yes, indeed he can, and in fact, pat it just a skosh, shooting down the back straight. He hangs on to it through 3 and 4, and has got basically the same amount on Billy Hicks, raiding by the home stands. They begin to open it up now just a bit on the rest of the field. Heading into 3 and out of 4. Still no change for the top 2, but we are looking at lap 5 now. And Donnie Sinks continues on in command with Billy Hicks trying to close it up. And now we got action out of turn 2 and some shifting going on up there as one of them got just a little bit higher than what he intended to and dropped into 4th place behind the number 4 machine of Dave Hatton. And I think that's Moose Guerin.
Sinks' last lap was 18 and 34 100ths. 18:34 for Sinks.
Here comes Donnie again. With that much of a lead now built up on Billy Hicks. Boy, they are just flashing, tearing by here. With lap 6 now unraveling. And a slowdown for the number 82 machine of Bill Parker Jr. And he does an early retiree stance into the pit field. Wish him a speedy recovery. We've got a smoker ever so increasingly out there now, sweeping his way through turn 1. I'm sure you see it too.
Tom Dingus now in 4th place as he makes his move on Moose Guerin.
Donnie Sinks appears to be in complete control. Can he hang on to it? We all learned that lesson bright and early this morning from about 2,500 miles back east. The wheel well of America, Indianapolis. Mario Andretti learning that nothing is for sure in the sport of automobile racing. And we're just beyond the halfway point of this one. That's the signal George Camp gives him on the track with the crossed flags. Donnie Sinks hanging on to it. Billy Hicks fighting for it along with Dave Hatton and Tom Dingus running 1, 2, 3, 4 right now. And here comes the lead contingent again. Donnie Sinks flashing by, followed by Billy Hicks, Dave Hatton, and Tom Dingus, all of them battling it out, but currently running 1, 2, 3, 4, respectively. And making some pretty fast laps right now as they play for pay at Raven on Sunday night. Got a lot of close stuff going on out there, which can be frighteningly chilly, dangerous.
Especially in these open wheel cars, climbing a wheel.
When it comes to the open wheels, because once those open wheels tangle up, you can bank on the two wheels working in opposite forces in opposite directions. And something generally is going to have to give. We saw it several weeks ago with a catapulting seesaw number right over the pit field wall and into the pit field.
Moose Guerin in that car number 29, Don, is starting to smoke more and more each lap he comes around. And
Moose has been pouring it on. Now his machine is pouring it out.
Currently in 6th place.
But he'll tackle that problem later. Right now, he's come to race. And getting back into this one is exactly what he's trying to do. Well, there goes Camp's pants. He's going to have to head over to Oliver's with those first thing. Not tomorrow, but Tuesday morning, I reckon. We've got us a dandy here for the Wing Super Modifieds main event. It's a 20-lap number. We're into the second half of this one. Ron Gary flashing by at 14. Apparently whatever was ailing him earlier on has now been pretty well taken care of. We'll keep an eye on him. Got a slowed one back there in the back chute. Looks like he's trying to get it worked back into the wrinkle, as it were, but not to the contentment of George Camp, who goes to the yellow and puts us under caution one more time. So that will allow us a certain amount of regrouping as we got one awry up there in turn 2. Is that a surprise? J.D. Vance, one of our Phoenician friends, the Young Motorsport and Stewart Race Cars, the sponsors of that number 33 machine, going the wrong way right now in turn 2. Donnie Sinks up front, followed by Dave Hatton in that number 4 machine. Billy Hicks is now faded with number 92 to 3rd place. Tom Dingus in car 21, good for 4th place. And Moose Guerin smoking all in number 29 right now. Battling away to hang on to position number 5.
And 18 laps down in this 20-lap event.
In the book, as Jack says. So that means it'll ought to be short and sweet, or at least short. When we come back to doing it again, under green.
Don Sink looking to win this main event if he can hold on, but Dave Hatton running in 2nd place has the same idea as Don does.
Dingus is also down from Phoenix, so 2 Phoenicians, 3 old Pueblans.
Old Pueblan. I like that.
Commanding your top 5 positions right now. Good to see Ron Gary, who particularly with a problem, being able to make a fast exit, get into the pit field, get it repaired, and get back out here. Didn't you just so fully agree today when they were talking with and about and describing Al Unser Sr.? In fact, it was his brother Bobby doing it
talking about him being not only a smart, but a shrewd and oft-times sly racer who, unlike himself, a lot of times is willing to lay back and let the attrition factor play some of it as you kind of take the conservative path, make sure you've got a good sensing of the track and the track conditions as they currently are at race time. You kind of sense that about an Al Unser Sr. and an Al Unser Jr. for that matter.
Well, these guys have been racing a long time. They're experienced. They've been there before. And like you say, they'll lay back and let everybody else blow their tires and run out of fuel. And then just before the end of the race, they'll creep on and be toward the front and creep right in there.
If I'm not mistaken, they basically, I think that whole family got their teeth, so to speak, in racing many moons ago, doing the old Pikes Peak climbs.
Oh yeah, do they still do that?
I haven't heard about that
No,
in
I
such
haven't
a long
either.
time.
That's the first time I've heard about it in a
maybe
long
it's
time.
been washed away.
Yeah.
No, George isn't happy with that one.
Wants them bunched up a little better.
Especially with only a pair of laps left. He wants to see it done with some semblance of fashion and order.
Donnie Sink, really wanting this one. He told me in the pits earlier.
But when don't they?
Here we go again.
White, green, 2 to go. Donnie Sinks is in the lead, but can he hang on to it? Some shuffling going on in the battle for second place right now, down the back chute and into turn 3. Checkered flag is out for DS. He's got it. And there you go, 492 and 4T. Sinks. Whale of a good run in that 5T machine, putting on a swell show for us in the first half of our remaining doubleheader main events for you tonight. Dave Hatton with a good charge out of Phoenix in car number 4. Good for second place. Billy Hicks, car 92, third, and Tom Dingus, another of our Phoenician brothers drifting south tonight in car 21. Unofficially, 4th place. I don't think Donnie can have too many questions left about that machine.
I know. We need the ambulance in the pits, please. The ambulance, go to the pits. Okay, we're ready to go from Tucson, bringing up the rear. In the car number 84, the 84 Rookie of the Year, a Ford 351, third-year driver, Dana Fight.
Car number 61, an IROC Z 406, sponsored by Royal Automotive. Rogers Automotive finishes at Big A, and Quaker State from Tucson, Rapid Roy Gibson.
In the car number 34 from Tucson with the owner, Pete Hernandez. Car number 34, Ron Widwell.
Number 75, sponsored by George's Automatic Transmission, Cactus Boot and Shoe Repair from Tucson, George Banghart.
In the car number 07, the Camaro, Carl Trimmer's old rig from Tucson, sponsored by O'Reilly Chevrolet, Terry Green.
Another of our Phoenician friends piling number 56, the Dust Devil Chassis Challenger machine and Pritchett Tire car from Phoenix by number 56. He's the 86 Rookie of the Year for the late models in Phoenix, Ed Bell.
From Eloy, sponsored by Wayne Kramer, Snap-on Tools, Valley Auto Parts, Eloy Picker Shop, Hancock's Towing, and Rod and Tot. The car number 73, Mike Hancock.
Car number 22, a Camaro 355, sponsored by Ajo Cafe, George's Automatic Transmission, Performance Engine and Machine. He's from Tucson, Dan McFedrin.
And car number 4 from Tucson, sponsored by Borderland, Big O, Pro Construction, Copper State Towing, George's Automatic Transmission, Performance Engines, Ulterior Trailer Sales, the 331 Camaro, car number 4, Jack Cocott.
Car number 71, the Camaro 404, George's Automatic Transmission, Cactus Boot and Shoe, Dick Pinnell's All Exhaust, Certified Auto Electric, your most improved driver in 85 from Tucson, Paul Banghart.
In the Firebird 355 from Tucson, sponsored by Quaker State Oil, Southwest Radiator, Alpha Plumbing, C&L Thunder, the car number 44, Kevin Clayton.
Car number 55, sponsored by Marketing Concepts, Brandon Communications Systems, and Brandon Brothers Texaco from Tucson, Bill Brandon.
In the car number 87 from Tucson, sponsored by Eastside Engines, DeYoung Motorsports, and J&V affiliated, Valley Marble, the car number 87, Herb Lang.
Car 90, an IROC Z406, being driven by that Glendale mechanic, Carl Moltner Jr.
In the car number 17 from Tucson, sponsored by Coors Light, A. Pierce Company, Arizona Spring, Townsend Racing Works, McLaughlin Body and Paint, Pima Welding Supply, Pennzoil. The car number 17, Ivan Russel.
Number 29, the Camaro-powered boat out of Phoenix, sponsored by Anco Mobile Brake, DeYoung Motorsports, Azteca Videos, Dan Smith.
From Tucson, piloting the car number 23T, sponsored by Sanavir Rockin' Material, George's Automatic Transmission, and looking for more sponsors, 23T, Jack Moore.
Car number 52, I hope you caught his act out here last night, sponsored by Performance Engine and Machine, Brassfield Auto Parts, Braswell Carburation, Copper State Towing, Simonson Generator, and ABC Radiator, among others, to be later identified. From Tucson, Jamie Throckmorton.
In the car number 4U from Tucson, sponsored by Budweiser, Golden Eagle Distributors, Performance Engine and Machine, Certified Auto Electric, Brassfield Auto Parts, Braswell Carburation, Top Line Auto Repair. The car number 4U, Rick Sipes.
Another one who had a whale of a Saturday night out here, I hope for you, in car 74, the Blue Circle West, Performance Engine and Machine, Danny Racing of Amarillo, Texas, and the Spirit of Vicky Lynn car for Tucsonan Carl Trimmer.
On the outside of the front row, sponsored by Miller Lite, Sam's Tavern, Competition Fuel Systems, Larry Shaw Race Car, the car number 26 from Tucson, Jerry Nelson.
And on the pole, car number 88, sponsored by Eastside Engines, DeYoung Motorsports, and J&V affiliated and Valley Marble Company from Tucson, Dwayne Lang.
The car number 26 tonight, the Jerry Nelson car, driving it tonight is Jim Brasfield. And the pace car for tonight from Rawlings, Chrysler, and Plymouth. There it is, the pace car.
Tough realizing that Jeep is now one of their lines, isn't it? Or about to be. But for a lot more than what Iacocca and Chrysler had anticipated it would be. But he still says it's a bargain. I would think so, especially driving around this town, seeing all the old CJ5s and 7s and
what
a variety of form of Jeep. Let him go tooling in their machines. Let's try the Raven Wave here again. And since he's got the green in hand, we better do it on this one, folks, as those two lead cars swish by in front of you. Come to your feet, stand up. Let's do the Raven Wave for a second time here tonight. Not bad stuff, of course.
Uh-oh, we got one down coming out of number 4, and I hope they see him.
Some of you folks probably figuring that may be the best way to get warmed up. I'd quit going that way real quick.
Oh, we've got 3 of them over here in the number 1 corner.
They're scattered out all over the place. So George is going to put her under the yellow no matter what. Finding out that the texture and the surface of that track right now has changed appreciably since last.
Drastically.
This flight squadron was out there doing their thing.
A much drier track than it was at the beginning of the event tonight.
Which will change the whole psychology, the whole approach to what it is they've congregated here to do.
Well, can he do it? In the car number 74, win 2 main events in a row. We'll just have to see. I'm sure he's done it before. And we've got another driver out there, car number 34, Ron Widwell. He's got some flags on the back of his vehicle. Celebrating Memorial Day. Whoopee.
Couldn't be a better evening to stay late with us. We'll all be breaking out the flags and celebrating this Memorial Day weekend.
Where'd you go, Tom?
I stepped out here to do an outdoor test on the...
An outdoor test?
Little Ramada. See if these guys are as noisy as they've recently been alleged to be. It has gotten to be quite a racket. Got a lot of dust, too, stirring up right now, which, as I mentioned earlier, makes George Camp very unhappy, as he has to keep those white trow so clean.
Dwayne Lang bringing him around real slow. George tells him one more time, gives him the okay, Dwayne, you're doing a good job. And let's see if George will give him the green this time. I've got a hunch that he's going to let him go green this time, Tom.
Well, he's itching to. You can bank on that. Here's what we didn't have just a little bit earlier on this evening, but here is a clear case where your pole sitter is setting the pace, and everybody else pretty much is following that lead. Not necessarily signifying that they like it, but for the time being, they're following suit.
I'm going to keep my eye on Jack Moore in 23T and see what kind of maneuver he makes as they come around 3 and 4. Oh, they're on the green, and look out, Jack.
And what what a busy track it becomes in such a quick and short period of time, but they're doing it clean. Right now, a lot of traffic back there just between Trimmer and Sipes.
Sipes bumping Trimmer on that number 2, and we've got a yellow flag out, and we've got a car down just beyond the number 2 corner.
Not far from where we saw one go over the lip of that infield protection ring last night. What did he do but come crashing down on that light post out there, giving us a rearrangement cosmetically.
Looks like Dana Fight over there. I can't quite see a number, but I don't see Dana out on the track.
Sure like the looks of that machine.
It's for sale. After tonight, he might give it away. No.
I doubt that. Very serious.
He's having his problems with that vehicle tonight, but.
Yeah, Carl and Rick got a real good bump in back there on turn 3. But both of them being the experienced drivers they are, totally kept it under control. And the crowd voicing their approval of George's reaching for the black flag.
And he's about to give it to Dana Fight in 84. Because he had 2 spinouts in one race, so into the pits he goes.
Rules are rules. So Dana becomes one of the early retirees this evening. A bit unexpectedly, perhaps, but handled in a very professional manner. And once given the indication, he followed the advice and headed down to the pit field, which is where you'll remember you are also invited. We've got a restart. George
making the sign of the cross.
Makes the sign and waves the flag. That's his form cross here this evening. Flag in Brassfield. Chase the rabbit into turn 1. Carl Trimmer awfully close in position 3. For how long, we'll see. And Rick Sipes in this Buds for You car, currently running fourth. Here they come again, out of the fourth, down the home stretch. Still the same basic setup as just a lap ago. If anything, Sipes has lost a little bit of ground that he'll now try to make up down the back chute. Trimmer seems to be playing that sly old fox routine, sitting comfortably near the lead and all set to challenge for it. If Mother Nature doesn't intercede, give him a break or two along the way. He'll wait it out, and then he'll start making his own breaks. And that's what the sport is all about. Flag, Brassfield, Trimmer, Sipes, Brockmorton, your top 5 as they stand right now in a 30-lap NASCAR Winston late model main event.
Last lap for Dwayne Lang was 20 and 34/100 seconds.
Tire heading into the pit field.
That was Ed Bell. Ed Bell hit into the pits in the car number 56.
Good spot to have her drop out from under you, nice and low down there where almost naturally everybody's going to be swinging kind of wide anyway, but particularly so once they see you're in trouble. In this case, number 75, Tucson George Banghar down there. A wee bit squirrely and then keeping it in that safe and low. That's a floodplain down there for Manus Lake, or Lake Mayonnaise.
Lake Mayonnaise. George Banghart losing it over there. between 3 and 4. And Gary's towing, throwing a hook on him.
On a birthday and Memorial Weekend celebration in the most beautiful city on the face of the earth.
San Diego, California. Tucson.
We know why we all came to Calexico.
You ever been to Calexico?
As a matter of fact, I haven't.
No, we haven't.
I've seen it
I've been there.
that proverbial stone's throw off of, what is it, 8?
Yep, going on the way to San Diego. Nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there.
I have a feeling from some of the toxic wastes that get dumped into our country at that spot, or is it the other way around? I don't think they've ever settled that one, but
nope.
It's one area I've decided I can do without for a while longer.
Me too. Dwayne Lang, your current leader in this main event.
Trimmer, Sipes, Throckmorton, Smith, Moore, Russell. Any one of them couldn't they?
Any one of them. And every one of them wants to.
Ed Bell returning to the fray, I'm happy to say. We still got us a pretty good contingent out there, Jack. 30 of them total, laps that is.
21 left. If I'm counting right.
Interesting to see what kind of heat now that the laps are eating away in this one that Carl Trimmer is going to opt to put on it. Based on his earlier performance this evening, Rick Sipes, you could say the same thing of him.
Rick looking good tonight.
You can always say that of number 29, Dan Smith. Will they get the green? Camp is eyeballing him, and yes!
Yep.
We're under green again. We're flying again. And look at them bunched up between 1 and 2 and squirting out of 2 back there. It's still anybody's race. With a nice stream of them coming by, but right now Dwayne Lang is setting the pace. Jim Brasfield and Carl Trimmer are thinking about doing something about that, but we've gone to yellow once again. Number 75. Banghar in trouble for a second time. And therefore for a last time.
Because they're going to send old George to the pits for spinning out twice in the main event.
George yells at him as he goes by. In all probability, you've just made a spectator of yourself. Get up there and become a part of the Raven Wave. Maybe we can sneak one more in here this evening on a restart. Dwayne Lang, Jim Brasfield, Carl Trimmer, Rick Sipes, Jamie Throckmorton, Dan Smith, Jack Moore, Ivan Russell.
As Gary's towing tries to get George off the field.
So far tonight, Terry Green hasn't had to buy a new tire. Probably worth several $100.
Aha. I'll have to check those out. Of Raven Raceway?
I think it was shot right around here, yes.
Probably up in the press box.
Not around here. This is like the PTL ministry.
That's right.
Bunch of. I better not.
Bunch of good people up in the press box.
I better not.
Real nice.
Remembering that it is far more blessed to give than to receive. They've been giving it to us for 7 weeks.
You know, the nice thing about here, we're all one big family up in the press box. I have not heard one dirty word since we've been up here all season.
It's a shame, isn't it?
And if you believe that, I'll sell you a bridge up in Lake Havasu.
Well, George Banghar finds him maybe the best seat in the house, at least temporarily. Have they impressed George Camp? Are we about to go racing? Answer is yes. He gives him the green and says, come on, guys. Keep it clean and mean. You're playing for pay. Let's get this monkey over with and get on with our Memorial Day weekend celebration. George is getting antsy. Real antsy. Dwayne Lang in the lead. Brassfield trying to close it up, and he does, at least temporarily, out of turn 1 and into turn 2. Carl Trimmer in the front.
Oh, look at Carl.
On the outside and making it look easy. Last time he did that, he did it on the inside. Lost some of that back, and oh my goodness, is it tight between Rick Sipes.
Woo! And Trimmer falling back to 4th place.
And Jim Brassfield. Boy, they were tight going into turn 1. Somebody could have hung out a no vacancy sign because there was no room left at that end. Not for a little while, at any rate.
Trimmer bumping Sipes just a little bit as they come out of number 2.
Lang, Brassfield, Sipes, and Trimmer. That's how they run 1 through 4 right now, and here they come by the homestand now. And look at Jamie Throckmorton, a la last night, closing it up. Sipes getting awfully bumpy down there, running low on turn 2. Taking it through the rock garden and surviving with it. Here they come, flashing by. Trimmer trying to put a move on, but he couldn't get it done going into number 1. Rick Sipes now taking just a little bit more care with Carl Trimmer in the immediate vicinity. 11 laps gone. Working on the 11th one now of 30. Nearing midway.
Trimmer just slid on the inside of Brassfield as Brassfield went wide. Now he's currently in 2nd place.
Leaving Jimmy back there in 3rd, but still ahead of Rick Sipes, who's trying desperately to close up ground. Doesn't look to be running quite as healthy as he was earlier this evening. Of course, that could all be pretense. It could be a certain form of sandbagging. At this stage of the race, it is conceivable. Wayne Lang still in the lead, trying to stave it off. That guy right there in 74. Carl Trimmer. Brassfield still trying to hang in there and chip away, bang away at it.
Uh-oh, look out at turn number 2. We've got the car spinning out.
Maybe find himself in the lead, but it's not going to happen real soon because we've got a squirrel in 2. Kevin Clayton sitting up there in number 44. Out of Tucson, 13 laps under the belt. Should give us about 17 to go. Copper Moon getting it back together to present you with some music extraordinaire for the next couple of hours after this one finally gets the curtain called down on it tonight. Did I underline or emphasize finally? Ask those rhetorical questions, you start getting rhetorical answers. Eh?
Eh? Well, Gary's towing's going to shove him out of the way. I don't know if he's going to try to start him or push him in the pits or what. What?
Wonder if Gary gives him Dave and Linda fleet discount.
Well, he's back under his own power again. My goodness, Rick Sipes has just headed into the pits.
But when he does that, he can do it about as fast as any of them. We've witnessed that in the weeks past. He'd dash in there for a repair, and lo and behold, before you'd know it, before Gary's towing would get their rig off the track, Rick would be right out here. So we got at least one more.
Well, if Rick makes it back out here, Tom, he'll have to tag the field.
Oh, absolutely.
That is the rule once you hit the pits.
But given the alternative, it feels pretty good back there at the back of the pack.
Yeah. Not for Rick, though.
Sometimes guys like Rick tend to meet some fellow drivers that maybe they haven't seen for several weeks. Not that they have time to do much socializing from back there, but at least the numbers flash by and stick in their mind, and they all know one another's around.
What do you think?
With green in hand, I think he's going to do it.
Yep.
I think he's got a hot date. Happy anniversary, George. Wayne Lang in the lead. Carl Trevor trying to close it up in turn one. Gets it done there, but he does not have a room, despite the fact it's the widest 3/8 in the West. He'd like to carve out a little bit more in the way of a niche down there to maybe do some passing in. Look at lap 14, and look at your top two in this squadron right now. Carl Trevor, always such a danger to deal with when he's on your rear bumper, and that's where he is to the long-time leader in this one so far tonight. As we reach midway at Raven Raceway.
Wayne Lang's hanging right in there, Tom, and perhaps, we've got one here.
Oh, my goodness. Banghar getting a little unexpected assist there. One up on the lip, right in front of the home stands. Our people up close and checking it out, but it looks like Brandon will get her back and moving under his own power. Bill Brandon at number 55. Heading to the pit field. So he'll be back joining this guy, hopefully very shortly. This guy being Rick Sipes in the Budweiser 4U car. Gary's having to offer another little assist up here, up close and personal. 14 laps are now in the book. Adds up to about 16 to go. We keep nipping away. Dwayne Lang, Carl Trimmer, Brassfield, Smith, Moore, Throckmorton, Russell, Banghar, Hancock, Green, Moltner, Kevin Clayton. There'll be some work to do on that number 4 machine. maybe more than a night's worth for Jack Cocott in that once powerfully good-looking Camaro 331, the Borderland Special Car. Temporarily sidelined. Sitting up in the old pit infield. Glad to see Dave move it out of that area and stick it out where he's got it. Maybe a little less visible a lot of the time, but that's why Dave's opened up the gates after racing and invited you to the pit fields. There's a lot to be seen and sensed and learned about these men and their sport of choice. We invite you to stick with us for the next couple of hours and enjoy that after racing, which we're back to doing. And Carl Trimmer making an early jump, but he backs off, drops off, tries to do it on the inside. You got a very smart Dwayne Lang up there who knows just exactly what portion of the track to use and when so far.
Rick Sipes made it back out before you, Carl.
Jack Moore breathing awfully close and heavy. Up the tail exhaust of Dan Smith. I tell you, that's the one end of Smith I'd want to be on, as opposed to the other one, because he is an aggressive and constant charger in that number 29 machine. Dan Smith down to Phoenix to do it in the dirt in Tucson on a Sunday night, and he does it with the best of them. Wayne Lang still flying at number 88. Brassfield inches his way back up ahead of Carl Trimmer now into second position. Carl settles into third place and kind of feeling it out back there, or so it would appear down the back chute. Trying it a little bit higher than what he's been doing most of this evening. Now he's got to be thinking about dashing Dan Smith in that number 29 machine, and Jack Moore is not all that far behind him. Those are your top five at the moment. Dwayne Lang, Carl Trimmer, Jim Brassfield, and then Brassfield, and then Trimmer, followed by Dan Smith, and then Moore, and I see Ivan Russel beginning to close up on him at the top. So we'll keep a close eye and ear on him, as will you, no doubt. He ran very well out here last week. Got a break or two along the way, in my opinion, in winning the Larry Brandon Memorial. There he goes now, trying to close the gap. Tighten it up, not all that far out of the picture right now. Wayne Lang still in the lead, shooting out of 3. Out of 4, it goes basically unchanged. Brassfield still hanging in there in that number 26 machine. Carl Trimmer running real close on his heels. Then our first breathing space, followed by Dan Smith. More breathing space, and Jack Moore now bumping it up and running solidly in 5th place, with Jamie Throckmorton in 6th place as yellow tumbles once again. Unbelievable. But we've got one down. And rather create more trouble, get it taken care of while the taking's good. Number 71, Paul Banghart. Right in front of you, the Camaro 404. Most improved driver in 1985. Needing a bit of a bump here. Now George and Bob will work on getting word to Rick Sipes in the Budweiser 4U car that before we can even think about going back to racing, he's going to have to tucker up to that last position.
Well, Tom, Dwayne Lang in the car number 88, our current leader, he won the main event in Las Cruces Friday night.